I'm looking at this Georgia prosecutor probe and the indictment. It's the President Trump along with 19 other people. What do we know of the indictment?
So, Manus, a total of 19 people indicted. The indictment also mentions there are 30 unindicted co-conspirators. There are 41 counts in the indictment. Those include racketeering, conspiracy to commit fraud, conspiracy to commit computer theft, to influence witnesses, perjury. In the racketeering count alone, there are 161 different acts, allegedly criminal acts, laid out by the prosecutor. The people indicted include, in addition to the former president, his personal lawyer, former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, who was not one of the people indicted in the special counsel Jack Smith's case recently. So that's different. And then there are some other people who were also indicted in the Jack Smith indictment, such as Sidney Powell and a few other people. Another number to keep in mind here is 5 to 20, because 5 to 20 years, that's the potential prison term for racketeering violations alone. The next step here will be for the former president to appear in court for an arraignment, and then we'll hear more details. This will be the fourth indictment that the former president has had on criminal charges, including the two charges by the special counsel, Jack Smith, as well as the New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg on the alleged hush money payments to the adult film star. Manus.
It's interesting, of course, as these minds, you say this is the fourth indictment. He continues to campaign for re-election. Now, he can go right the way through for as long as these legal challenges are in front of him. He can continue to campaign. Racketeering is the central court, is the central judgment here, it would seem to be. There was 161 specific acts furtherance of that conspiracy. What actually happens next? Because you've got these four indictments. Do they all just run along? Do you think that they get pushed legally into the long grass until we get to the election? Or what kind of theatre do you think that we get between now and the election, Bruce?
Well, it is a good question, Manus, because it is a very busy calendar that the former president is facing in terms of court dates. So in addition to the four cases that we've mentioned, there are also several civil trials involving the former president. Figuring out where this trial would fit in the calendar is something that remains to be seen. The issue now is how many of these trials, if any of them, can actually take place before the primaries. The Iowa caucuses are scheduled to begin early next year. The Republican convention will be in the summertime. Obviously, the election in the fall. One thing that's very important about this Georgia indictment, as opposed to, say, the Jack Smith indictments, is that if Donald Trump were to win the presidency, he would be able to pardon himself under the Constitution, potentially, for any federal crimes. Or if a Republican, another Republican were to win the presidency, many of them have said that they would want to pardon former President Trump if he were convicted in any of those federal cases. There's no ability for the president to pardon someone in Georgia on a state charge. So this would be beyond the reach of former President Trump if he were elected again, or if any other Republicans were elected. They would not be able to pardon him in the Georgia case.